Where were you born and when?
In when? Well, I was born in Norwood, Massachusetts in 1946.
I was born in Livermore Falls, Maine in September of 1927.
I was born in Brewer, Maine in 1963.
Did you appreciate living in Maine, and did you appreciate the state as a child?
Oh my goodness, yes, and I still do.
What was popular, like what was in when you were a young adult?
A young adult? What was in? Well, actually, when I was a young adult is when in the 60s, when it was drop in, drop out drugs and all that stuff, which I never took part in. But it was a lot of hippie kind of things, atmosphere, and everybody, you know, kind of running around with no shoes on. And it was kind of a scary time because a lot of things were going on then. It was assassins, and so it was kind of a upheaval time when I was a teenager. The music was great, rock and roll, and the Beatles, and that part was good.
I'm going to say this, and a lot of people are going to cringe, but disco. Disco was a fad or a craze that a lot of people got into, different type of music and dance, and you know, it was very popular. But you know, I guess fads like that and just different clothes, the clothes changed. You know, everybody was in bell bottoms from the 60s, or excuse me, from the late 60s, 70s up through and into the 80s, you know, was parachute pants and different things like that, and different wild colors, and haircuts became a little bit different. There were hair bands with big, you know, with long hair, and you know, punk rock really took off. I wasn't into that, but that was a big fad, and later in the 80s, the grunge. But I was married by then, so.
What was life like growing up in New England?
It was kind of a simple life. We moved around a little bit in the same town because my father was a carpenter, and so we lived in different houses but in the same town. So everybody knew everybody. I think that's a huge difference. Everybody knew all the kids on the block, so you didn't get away with anything because the neighbor would squeal on you.
We didn't have any time. We had to work on the farm. We always had to work. We picked strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, blackberries. They were wild, and they were very tiny. So that was our job. And then we had to help with haying as we grew older. And then when I got into high school, I learned to make cheese because my mother and my grandmother both made cheese because we had 2 farms, and we made 52 plus pounds of butter a week. This was during the Depression, and then my mother had 3 cheese presses that make big rounds of cheese firm enough to be sold as a round of cheese, and they used to take it to the red and white store and sell the rounds of cheese. And then my grandmother, with a horse and buggy, used to take the butter, this is during the Depression, and sell it in Livermore Falls, and people used to pay $3 a pound for the butter that they made on the farm. And that was during the Depression. I can't imagine who. We never had any money during the Depression. But somebody did, because they paid $3, and my grandmother would take her horse and buggy and she would just go up and down the streets, and she knew who would buy. And so that's where we went. And I thought that was a big deal.
What do you think you had as a child growing up that the youth of today don't?
Wow. What did I have? I'm not sure, because I don't know. What did I have that the youth today don't have? I'm not sure, because I think they have it all. I think that they have everything that I would have had, other than I know that my family and I, we were very close and very dependent on each other. And I had felt, and I don't know what the children today feel, but I felt an obligation and a responsibility to my family to honor their name, my last name. My father used to say, you have two names. Your first name belongs to you, but your last name belongs to a whole family, and what you do will either honor it or dishonor it. So think before you do anything to bring dishonor on your family.
What do you think of the youth today?
I think the youth today are fantastic. I think, you know, when we look at what's at their fingertips, what's available to them, and the opportunities that they have to advance, especially with, you know, computers and you know, medicine and things along those lines. I think there's so much more opportunity for youth if they work hard and you know, try to get ahead in life. I mean, David McCullough, one of my favorite authors, at one of the commencement speeches, and it's true, he goes, you know, the world owes you nothing, and you're nobody if you think of it that way. But it's what you make of yourself, and it's what you put into it that's going to make you who you are, the person you're going to be. And that gives me great hope for the youth of today and for Maine's future and New England's future, is if these young adults take the opportunity or the programs that are available to them, they can really, the sky's the limit. It really is. It's up to you as an individual, as a youth, to do and become what you want. And it's been that way in every generation. But you have a lot more at your fingertips, and again, the sky's the limit.